If I can have Briar and Elsie, Maya, Carter, and Sophie. Please, 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 ladies. Alright. Hold these here, spread out, and just hold it toward you until I point to you. Okay.
Is your mic on? Did you
Oh,
turn
no,
it
it's not.
Okay.
Thank you. Is that better? It's not? Okay. Okay. Each of these girls has a sign. These are things that we've learned all afternoon. As they turn this around, I want each of us to read it out loud. Everybody say it all together. Right. A little bit.
Above your head.
There you go. I am created by God. I am known by God. I am precious to God. I am one of a kind. I was created to be me. Okay. Just hold them up there for just a second. You don't have to hold them up like forever. But ladies, I just want to reiterate and really drive this home. He's our creator. He thought enough of Briar to take the time to specifically make Briar the way she is. Briar isn't as outgoing as her other two sisters. She's the more quiet of the girls. If Briar's thinking something, you can see it all over her face. She doesn't say it, but she's thinking it. And you can almost always tell what Briar's thinking just by looking at her face. She's very intimidating sometimes. Like, I'll walk into church and Briar's got this look, I'm like, oh, where do I look stupid? But you can always read Briar's face. Briar has, but she is a very helpful person. Briar's always willing to help. And Briar has attributes about her that Maya doesn't have. Maya, we've already talked about Maya, she's crazy. But Maya is a very giving person. She's never been given money to where she doesn't give that money to somebody else. She doesn't hold on to it. Or if she's given money and she doesn't give it to someone else, she buys something for someone else. I can't remember where we went to recently. Was it Newland? I'd given her, I don't even know how much money I gave her spending money. And I'm glad that her dad and I were there at the camp, because she came up to me 3 days into camp. She's like, Mom, I need more money. And I said, I gave you $100 at the beginning of the week for your spending money. Remember, I said, remember we budgeted and we talked about budgeting and all the things? And she's like, Mom, I bought stuff for people at the gas station. I bought all snacks and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna fuss at her for that, but that's just her heart. That's just, she can tell you that your shoes don't match your outfit like that, but then turn right around and buy you something to make you feel better. One thing that Maya used to always do when she was little, it was something that's so precious to me. If you're in ministry or you're a pastor's wife or a ministry wife, you get calls all time day, morning, noon, night, middle of the night, first thing in the morning, they come home. And Maya could pick up on that. She didn't necessarily have to hear the conversation. She had no idea what was going on the other line. All she knew was her dad would get out of his at-home clothes and immediately start changing into pastoral clothes to make a hospital visit or whatever. And she would run to her room and grab a stuffed animal, and she said, do they need this? Oh. She was always very thoughtful about that kind of stuff. So she's got attributes about her that maybe Elsie doesn't have about her. I'm not saying Elsie's not giving. I'm not saying that at all. Each one of these girls has something very special about them. Maya is known by God, just like you are known by God. Elsie, I just leaned over to my mom and said, isn't she developing into the most beautiful young lady? Isn't she so pretty? And she's got the sweetest disposition about her always. You never hear Sarah, I don't know where Sarah is. We at church never hear anything negative come out of Elsie's mouth. She's the sweetest, kindest, most helpful. She's precious. Oh, and your son says precious. Look at that, see? Carter, one of a kind. Carter's one of a kind. Carter's a crack up. If there's fun to be had, Carter wants to be involved. She's all about, let's all have a good time. Love that about Carter, but she's a hard worker. Carter's a very hard worker. And then our Sophie, happy birthday, Sophie. Our Sophie, she was created to be her, just like we are created to be us. And Sophie is the baby hog at church. She loves all the babies and all things baby. Like, I'm pretty sure at even a very little age, her mom said, oh, she just wants to grow up and have kids. Like, she just wants a bazillion kids. And we all know that that's what she's destined to do. She's just so good at it. It's just natural. It comes natural to Sophie. But I want you to look at these signs, and I want you to think about what's unique about you. What makes you different than her? Kristi, what makes you different than Tara? Shelly, what makes you different than Jana? Rhonda, what makes you different than my mom? Haley, what makes you different than Addison? I think we know. We talked about that at lunch. You girls are different. You're sisters, but you're very different. Haley truly is the smartest person I know. She graduated from Rose Holman. She's so smart. So smart. And it's awesome to be able to tell people that. I'm like, I know somebody, and she's a girl, and she graduated from Rose Holman, and she's awesome. I told her that at lunch. I said, I tell people that all the time. But if I'm like her, and she's like her, and she's like her, and she's like you, and she has the same talents as you have, and you have the same talents as she has, and you play piano, and you play piano, and I play piano. Who would there be to sing? Who's left out there? If we all have the same talents, and if we all have the same personalities, and if we all have the same disposition, we all have the same attributes that are identical, who's left to sing? There's got to be somebody to sing. Otherwise, why play the piano? Why would somebody just come up here and play the piano if nobody out here is going to sing? Are you the one that was chosen to sing and not necessarily the one that plays the piano? I'm not talking literally. But are you chosen to be out there and support someone here? I can tell you, some people get envious of people in ministry. Don't. The pastor needs the flock. Without the flock, there's no reason to have a pastor. He needs y'all as badly as you need him. And I just was I shared this with Taylor at lunch. And I said, sometimes it doesn't seem like you're getting through to a soul. I'm not saying about any of y'all. Y'all have been wonderful. Thank you so much. Sometimes it might not seem like you're getting through to a soul. You study your Sunday school lesson, and you walk into class and they're like, and you're like, did you have milk and cereal? Like, have you had breakfast this morning? Where is your protein shake? And you look at them like, or they look at you like you're cross-eyed and you've got 5 years. But, promise you, there's somebody listening. You might not think they are. You might not know who you're teaching as far as what they're going to be. They might be the next pastor of your church. They might be the next deacon of your church. So we don't know. We don't know who we're teaching. But maybe they're the singer. And I need these ladies. They need me. These ladies need them. And they need them. I taught a lesson back at you guys, ladies can sit down and thank you so much. And then at the end, I need y'all to tell them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I did a lesson at a conference a while back on the importance of being a Ruth or a Naomi to someone. If we all understand that everything in this Bible is not just a story, it's a biblical truth that he wants us to gain from it. And Ruth needed Naomi as badly as Naomi needed Ruth. And had they not had each other, that would have been a devastating, sad story in the Bible. But I want you all to realize that the Ruths need the Naomis just as badly as the Naomis need the Ruths. And we need each other as badly as the pastor needs y'all and y'all need him. So, this is what I wanted to, okay there. I want us to start at Psalm 139, 17 and 18. See my numbers. Okay, here we go. Psalm 139, 17 and 18. When I was studying when I was praying about what our women's conference theme was going to be last year, and I was out in the barn, I know it sounds weird, we have a barn that we converted into a little gathering place. So that's where I go to study, and that's where I go to pray and all things. And it's my quiet place, and I love it. And I was out in the barn, and I was by myself, and I started reading. I was like, Lord, I need you to show me, like, I need to nail this down. I need to know what you want us to focus on at our conference this year, and what you want us to really get from. And he took me to Psalm 139. And as I got to reading, we were getting ready to have a meeting that night, a conference meeting. And as I was reading this passage, I literally sat, y'all probably think, she does cry. Right, sometimes. But I started crying. I lost it in that barn. And the more I read it, the more I cried. And I told the ladies that night at that meeting, I said, I can't get over this verse. How precious also are thy thoughts unto me, O God. How great is the sum of them. If I should count them, I can't see. They are more, oh my soul, I cannot see. They are more in number than the sand. When I awake, I'm with thee. What David is saying here is, he meeting was in September. In October, I went to a women's conference that I was speaking at, and they kind of did, like what Ms. Tar just did here with the ladies, and they had several ladies that got up and spoke. And a friend of mine was one of the speakers, and she gave us these little containers. She opened it up, and she just took out a pinch, just like this. She had just been to the beach, and she got a little bucket of sand, and she brought it home because she knew she wanted to do this. And she took this little pinch of sand, just like this, and she spread it out in her hand like this. And she said, there's no way I could count all of those grains of sand. Not even when I tried. I mean, there's no way that you could count these grains of sand. That's a pinch. A tiny pinch at that. It's a very tiny pinch of sand. There's no way we could count that. Ladies, when I sat there under that and she talked about the more she talked, I was squalling like a baby. Because I had already dealt with my own in the barn over the verse. and then she did this. And I lost my marbles. So today, for you sweet ladies, I thought, I want to do that for them. I want them to know that in this little tiny container contains a pencil dot worth of sand compared to all the sands in this earth. A little pencil dot, even if it's even that. This contains just a little tiny bit, but I wanted to zhuzh it up a little bit. When I think of him thinking about me more than the sands, one of my favorite places in the entire world is the beach. I love the beach. The prettiest beaches I personally have ever been to are like anything on the Gulf Coast. White sands, looks like sugar, beautiful. The sand, once it gets in your stuff, you're gonna see it for years. It gets in the bottom of your beach bag, it gets in your totes, it gets in your towels, it gets everywhere. You just don't even think about getting it out of your car. It's not gonna happen, ever. But it's so beautiful to look at. And that's the finest sand that you'll probably ever find. If you've never been to the beach, there's no way you could even look at one grain. It's so tiny, so tiny. So then you think, okay, I've been to the sand, and I have sat in a chair, and I've people watch. But when I think about sitting in a beach chair and looking up and down the beach, you can see for miles. You can see until you can see no more. This way and that way. That's one beach, one section of one beach. Think of all that sand that's piled up on that beach. That's one section of one beach. Listen, y'all, it's supposed to get beautiful. There's far more than what's in the oceans. That's not the only place there's sand. It's my favorite place. It's not the only place. There's beautiful sand. That's my favorite, that white sand, that white sugar sand. Oh, my soul. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. There's also a very strong type of sand. And it's known as, it's called sharp sand. It's very gritty, it's very coarse, but it's strong enough to be used in concrete and other solid materials that help build structure. So it's not pretty. It's not the pretty white sugar sand, but it's strong. It's very strong. There's desert sand. Think about all the deserts on this earth. That's a lot of sand. And it exists in places that you couldn't survive if you weren't very well equipped to even be there. So there's places that probably haven't even ever seen a human face or foot or hand or anything that's got all this sand. And it's there. So we've got all these beaches with all this sand. And it's not just on the beach, you know, it goes into the water, into the ocean, like we can't even fathom that. There's black sand. It's found on the beaches of geothermal spots, like places that are volcanic, things that happen in those areas. Hawaii, Japan, those type of places have volcanoes that erupt and they produce this black sand. Black sand is also known for strength and durability, and they use it a lot in like asphalt, helps to keep the road bound. But it's very strong. But the thing about black sand is it's also known to be an indicator for the extraction of precious gems. So if you see black sand, Hawaii, these places, you might find yourself a gem. It's known for being an indicator that there might be a gem there. Not always, but sometimes. So, in your little container, I love Amazon. Did I say that before? I ordered y'all beautiful sand from a beach in Fiji. So although we can't go to Fiji, you got some Fiji sand. Okay? It is beautiful. Beautiful. The bag was, I was like, oh my, dump that on the floor, let's put our food in it. I didn't do that. I didn't do that, but I wanted to, because it's beautiful. And this is going to represent the beauty that's within each and every one of you ladies. There's the strong sand and the desert sands that represent strength and abilities that He's given us to carry out the task before us. So in this little container, I got y'all some desert sand. And it's gonna let you know, listen, I'm strong. I'm strong. If God will help me get through this, I'm gonna get through it. I'm strong. With Him, I'm strong. And then it looks like we pulled it out of the bag, and Maya said, "Mom, that looks like pepper." I got y'all some volcanic sand from a volcano. You can get a bag of volcano sand. It was literally a fun day opening up that box of all the fun sands. It was so fun. But you'll have black sand in here that's going to represent the rare gem that's waiting to be extracted. That's you. Inside of the sand, I don't know if y'all can see, I placed a little gem. Just to remind you that you're unique, because this container is not like this one. This one's different than that one. We're all different. We're all special gems. He's just waiting on us to be extracted. Let Him love on us a little bit. That's what He wants from us. He wants to know that we acknowledge that we're special to Him, but that we're willing to do whatever it is He asks us to do. And this represents you're beautiful, you're strong, and you're precious. You're so precious to Him. And I don't want anyone to leave here not knowing that. And ladies, I just want you to know, every time you see this, I keep these kind of things, my friends call it my shrine. But I do have all these precious little things that I've gotten myself from women's conferences. I save them because every time I see it, I think about what was taught. It's a reminder of what I learned that day. And my little shrine, that they call it, has all these special things that anytime I see it, I'm like, man, I remember when she spoke on that. That really touched my heart. And so I want you to put this in a place where every time you see it, think, man, he loves me. This isn't even a pinch. It's smaller than a pinch. It's smaller than you can even fathom, even if you put a little pinch in your hand. He thinks of you. There's not even a number. There's not a number to go with it. How often he thinks of us. And that you're special. You're a special gem. And we're unique, and we're not like one another, and he did that for a reason. So, ladies, I'm going to have the girls come, and I'm pretty sure I've got enough for everybody. If not, if the Calvary ladies just want to hold off for just a second, because I have more of these at home. I can bring them to church tomorrow. But if you girls want to pass these out, and then I'm sure that there's enough. Thank you, ladies. Ladies, thank you for being so attentive. Thank you for allowing me to be here and be a part of your conference. And I just want y'all to know that I love you, you're unique, you're special, and you have a purpose.